Once upon a time, in ancient India, the Buddha was walking with a few of his disciples through a quiet village. His face was calm, his eyes filled with peace. Wherever he went, people gathered around him just to catch a glimpse of that serenity. But not everyone was pleased with him. There were some who couldn't understand his teachings, and their hearts were filled with anger. As Buddha passed through one such village, a man suddenly came forward and began shouting at him. "You are misleading people," he screamed. "You're wasting their time with false teachings. Go away from our village." The man's voice echoed in the air, filled with hate and bitterness. But Buddha stood silently. He didn't say a single word. He just looked at the man with eyes full of compassion. The disciples standing behind Buddha were furious. They wanted to react, to defend their master. But Buddha gently raised his hand and signaled them to stay calm. He simply stood there, still, peaceful, and smiling. After a few moments, the angry man, realizing he was getting no reaction, turned away and stormed off. Buddha continued his journey silently. Later that evening, as they sat under a tree, one of the disciples finally asked, "Master, why didn't you say anything to that man? He insulted you. You could have stopped him." Buddha smiled softly and replied, "Tell me, my dear disciple. If someone gives you a gift, and you choose not to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The disciple thought for a moment and said, "It remains with the person who offered it." Buddha nodded. Exactly. The same rule applies to anger. If I don't accept his insult, it stays with him, not me. The disciples sat in silence, deeply moved. They understood that reacting to anger only spreads more anger. But silence ends the chain. Days later, the same man who had insulted Buddha came back. This time, with tears in his eyes. He fell at Buddha's feet and said, "Forgive me. Your silence has shown me my own foolishness." Buddha smiled and said, "There is nothing to forgive. When you were angry, you were not yourself. Now that you have found peace, you are yourself again." Moral: in life, not every insult deserves a reaction. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. Because when you choose peace over reaction, you don't just calm the situation. You inspire others to find peace too. So remember, you don't have to accept every insult that's offered to you. Sometimes, the most powerful reply